Hello, and welcome to this podcast. Today we're looking at the solar plexus, whose color is yellow and is located between the navel and sternum. Now, this energy center takes our thoughts and beliefs and manifests them in the outside world. The theme then is right to act and create. The spiritual lesson of this chakra is acceptance. Acceptance of your place in the world, to hear your truth and to feel your desire and to act accordingly. The physical dysfunctions that might show up are metabolic disorders, digestive disorders, liver dysfunctions, and ulcers. Mental and emotional issues might surface as personal power issues, anger issues, anxiety, confidence, and lack of recognition. The information that is stored here is all about our personal power, what we believe, our personality, and our own consciousness of self. The organs that are associated in this area are liver, gallbladder, pancreas, intestines, and stomach. Any problems with those, and you really need to look at this energy chakra and what might be underlying the cause of dis-ease. For example, the liver has many functions, and for example, fats are converted for energy and proteins are transformed into a usable form here. Excesses in diet and toxins such as drugs and alcohol are of course felt by the liver. But more than that, the liver is a storehouse for anger. So if anger isn't properly expressed, it can manifest as depression, jealousy, irritability, and ultimately it can affect your immune system. The liver particularly is connected to a sense of meaning and purpose of life. So a tip-off in this area would be, have you been indulging to excess? Are you hiding feelings and self-soothing in unhealthy ways? When we look at the gallbladder stores bile, which is produced in the liver. Bile breaks down fats and makes them easier to digest. Lack of bile would make you feel queasy and help you from proper digestion. It would manifest as a feeling of not being able to cope. The term gall, he had the gall to say, means assertiveness, bitterness, spite, malice, and implies deep anger rising up from the inside. So ask yourself, have you been feeling angry and bitter? Now, pancreas is also one of those important organs that's necessary. It produces enzymes for the breakdowns of fats, proteins, and carbohydrates. Without them, the nutrients wouldn't be digested correctly and would pass through your system undigested. This would cause indigestion, bloating, and, the diarrhea. So some tips-offs here would be, ask yourself, do you feel overwhelmed and unable to cope in a situation? Are you able to digest your feelings? And what needs to change? The stomach. Digestion, of course, occurs here. The stomach, gets aided by the liver, gallbladder, and pancreas. It is here that you receive the nourishment and let yourself be nourished and nurtured. Without this action, a gnawing, craving fills up and needs are created and manifested. It could also be that you are rejecting and denying your needs as well. Like vomit, for example, could reflect a rejecting mechanism. And you might ask yourself, Am I rejecting nourishment or nurturing, or is it just, bad shrimp? Indigestion is as much about worry and anxiety as it is about the wrong foods. The intestines. This is where the nutrients are either absorbed or are prepared for departure. This is also where you process your stuff. It's a clearing station. If you are not processing emotion, you will experience tension and stress, and probably diarrhea. Without proper processing, you can't release or let go. So emotion can become stuck. Constipation. It has the potential to be a center for personal power, but if you are not connecting with your inner strength, it will manifest as emptiness and need. So here's some tip-offs. Are you feeling anxiety? Do you feel like you've been hit in the guts? Are you holding on to something unable to let go? What would happen if you let things unfold rather? The solar plexus is the place of ego, where you develop individuation, self-consciousness, and personal power. This is where you assimilate information from the world and digest it. Makes sense then that this chakra is tied to metabolic and digestive systems. This center is powerful and gives you sense of direction and purpose. It also relates to your feelings of self-worth and esteem. The process of becoming an individual is discovering and connecting with your inner power. Within this chakra are the archetypes of the servant and the warrior. The servant does not recognize its worth. Because of this, it does its job well, but does not receive recognition or reward. While thankful for the attention and recognition it does get, there is no sense of true self-worth. The servant remains in the background, never moving up the ladder. Disempowered, it remains ignored and, for the most part, unrecognized. Because of its low self-esteem, it relies on others to communicate its worth. This archetype has given away its personal power and emotional needs in order to win approval and recognition from others. It projects onto others the qualities it wishes it could express, making others much more powerful than they really are. The servant often connects with others for love and recognition, but choose people who are the least capable of doing so. By being dependent on others and giving away power, the servant does not accept the responsibility for self. It relies on others for its happiness. They are susceptible to manipulation and have trouble discerning its needs from those of others. The first step out of this is to acknowledge the pattern of behavior and step into personal responsibility. The truth is, the servant doesn't need to do anything or be anything in order to be deserving of love. It is worthy by divine right. The way to grow into personal empowerment is through healthy choices and commitment. It needs to recognize the needs of self, make decisions based on what's best for itself, focusing on well-being, respect, and acknowledgement from others. In this way, sense of self-worth and self-esteem will grow. The warrior is in control of its life, a hero or heroine of its own adventure. It has harnessed its power and lives an empowered life of self-expression. It has given itself permission to feel good in the world, in relationships and at work, by expressing the power of its own good energy. It operates on an instinctual level and is the most powerful of the personal archetypes. Be the best you can be is the motto for the warrior. This means doing what gives it joy, using its gifts to the fullest, and also having clear boundaries. The energy of this archetype has a male expression, very active and intelligent. The trials the warrior must face in order to develop are rejection and opposition. This forces the warrior to step into inner strength and rely on its own sense of self-worth, which in turn builds confidence. Every situation holds potential for growth. It views life as an adventure and full of challenges that must be conquered. It does hold a vision of duality, and this illusion will appear as good or bad. The warrior will take the side of good and fight against the bad, championing enthusiastically for its vision of what is right and good. It thrives on conflicts of this nature because it gives the warrior opportunity to further define self and enhance its own power and confidence. It also serves to give meaning to life. It is unable to see that it's the duality and the illusion is its own projection. Thriving on the conflict, the warrior isn't at peace with life. It's not aware that we are all connected in one because its perspective is focused in ego. It is a necessary archetype, and it is needed to transcend and step up into the journey of higher self. So just a reminder here, we're talking about low expressions and high expressions, and we visualize this in the lower archetype and the higher archetype in each energy center. But nobody's 100% servant. No one's 100% warrior. It's a range. So when you're looking in these energy centers, look for where you are in the range. It's a scale. Are you mostly towards the lower end servant? Are you mostly operating in the higher end of warrior? And this is important because, if you are experiencing problems, if you're drawing and attracting people and situations into your life that you would like to shift up, you have to assess this range and decide, what is it that I need to change? What is it that I need to redefine to operate on a higher end of the scale, thus, attracting more of what really serves and nourishes you. So again, it's where are you on this range? No one's ever 100% servant or 100% warrior. It's where are you on the range, and do you want to shift up? I hope you've enjoyed today's podcast, and if you would like to